So you can see how this really does, it's very similar to the description he gave here of monads, which is that no two monads are alike, no two perceptions are alike, and monads are constantly subject to change. Well, our perceptions are constantly subject to change, and he says that these changes are caused by internal motions. Well, what are these internal motions? He tells us internal changes of monads are caused by appetites, desires. So there's two parts to the mind for Leibnitz. There's perception and there's appetite or desire. And it's these appetites and desires which cause these internal changes of perception. Okay? I'm not sure I should use the word cause though, because causality in Leibniz is, in my opinion, somewhat confused. And I think that it perhaps isn't as I would, it isn't what I would call causality. I think it's something which is designed by God or pre-programmed, programmed in advance to work in a certain way. Okay, and so he points out that the soul is perception plus memory. So for Leibniz, just perception on its own is a monad. But when the perceiving body, or the perceiving monad, I should say, when the perceiving monad has memory as well, and I get the impression memory comes from something physical, then we can call it a soul, because soul is a rational monad in Leibniz's terminology. That's what the soul is. Okay, so he points out when we lose consciousness, we approach a monad state, and that's because we lose our memory. Yeah, we lose our memory, and we've just got our perceptions when we lose consciousness. Now, Leibniz believes we still have perceptions when we're unconscious. They're just confused. They're not so vivid. Yeah, and he believes that in this state we approach the monad state. Okay, we approach a monad state which is just pure perception. Okay, and another way you might want to understand this is a multiplicity is that which is perceived. It's passive. It's that which is perceived. The composite world, the physical world, that which is perceived, is passive in some kind of way. It just sits there and gets perceived. Whereas a unity is that which perceives. It's the I form. Yeah, and it's active. So we actively perceive the world. Our unity actively, our consciousness, you might say, our perception perceives the world actively, and the world just sits there and gets perceived. It's passive in some kind of way, and the world is a multiplicity. That means it's not real in some kind of way, okay? The only real part, this is why he's an idealist, and sometimes called a panpsychic idealist, because he's kind of saying that the whole real world is made of mind. And this makes him quite similar to George Berkeley, who was around at the same time as Leibniz. I think, they were contemporaries, I believe. And so quite similar to George Berkeley. Okay, now there's a similar idea, but it's not the same. There's a similar idea to Spinoza's parallelism, because he points out that perceptions follow other perceptions, whereas motions follow other motions. Later, he says that souls act according to laws of final causes. Remember that final causes in Aristotle were aims. Yeah, that was one way of explaining the cause of something. You could point to 4 different types of cause in Aristotle. He was very precise, Aristotle, and he pointed out that final causes and efficient causes are slightly different types of causes. And Leibniz agrees, and he says that souls act according to laws of final causes, bodies act according to laws of efficient causes. And so it sounds like the laws of the physical world, well, they're different from the laws of the laws of efficient causes are different from the laws of the mental world, which is the laws of final causes. Yeah, and so perceptions follow other perceptions. It sounds like perceptions cause other perceptions, whereas motions cause other motions. And I want you to understand that in Leibniz's world, everything is connected in the universe, everything. And so the motion of one thing on the other side of the universe has an effect on you, even though it's millions and millions of miles away. It has an effect on you. And so motions always cause motions in all the rest of the universe. Perceptions cause other perceptions in all the rest of the monad universe, yeah? But there does seem to be a separation. The simple monad and the composite worlds remain forever separate, it seems to me. I don't think he does a very good job at showing the connection between these two worlds, and perhaps he doesn't want to. You know, perhaps he wants to just say that the world of perceptions is the real world, and the world of motion is actually an imaginary world in some kind of way. It's not a real world, it's a world of multiplicities. Okay, and now he points out there are two types of truths, yeah, a priori and a posteriori. He calls these truths of reason and truths of fact. And he says that a priori truths are necessary and finite. And that's the important word, because according to Leibnitz, empirical truths are infinite. And he means that the reasoning is infinite. If you want to find out what caused, I don't know, Leibniz writing this pamphlet, well, then you have to, he points out there are an infinity of present and past motions in the universe, of everything in existence, which is all connected. So there's an infinity of past motions that provide the efficient cause of anything in the physical world. So if you want to explain how Leibniz came to start writing this pamphlet, you have to take into account an infinity of other motions around the universe, other events around the universe. And of course, your brain is finite. Well, I should be careful here, but your monad isn't finite. You know, your perception isn't finite, but your understanding, your ability to comprehend the world is finite. And so you are a finite being, unlike God, who is infinite. Yeah, God is the only monad without a body, so he's truly infinite, just like the monads are infinite in number.